Today I'm exploring the most important ingredient in all of Greek cuisine: extra virgin olive oil.
Super extra virgin fresh olive oil.
We will follow Greece's liquid gold from harvest to bottle as I visit the southern Peloponnese region of Laconia. I'll take a look at both the traditional
She likes to eat raw olives.
and modern ways to press olives, and explore nearby Monemvasia, a perfectly preserved medieval fortress town. I'll cook up some of my favorite olive oil-based dishes.
It's almost perfect in its absolute simplicity.
So join me on my Greek table.
Cheers.
Yamas.
The yamas.
I was born in New York and visited Greece when I was 12. I fell in love with the place and my husband. I moved to Athens 25 years ago to cook and write about Greece's healthy foods and natural beauty. I'm Diane Kochilas. Yassas.
My Greek Table with Diane Kochilas is made possible in part by the Stavros Niarchos Foundation, Barisi 36, traceable, regional, and all-natural Greek extra virgin olive oils and sulfite-free balsamic vinegars. Wines of Greece. A sense of place. Dodoni Authentic Greek Feta, made the traditional way from farm-fresh sheep's and goat's milk. Greece, home to Hellenic flavors and the Mediterranean experience.
The Philo Factory.
The National Hellenic Society. And by the following. With additional support by
the sacred olive tree and the liquid gold pressed from its tiny, hardy fruit are deeply rooted in the Greek psyche and the Greek kitchen. Extra virgin olive oil is used in every aspect of cooking, from breakfast to dessert. Extra virgin olive oil plays a seminal role in the famed Mediterranean diet. It is very high in monounsaturated fats and is loaded with antioxidants, some of which, such as polyphenols, have powerful health benefits. Greece is the world's third largest producer of olive oil, but first in consumption, at approximately 15 quarts per capita per year. Olive oil touches every part of Greek life and culture. Ancient Olympic athletes rubbed olive oil on their bodies before the games and were rewarded with an olive crown. In ancient Greece, high-quality olive oil, scented with herbs and flowers, was used for personal hygiene. Today, olive oil is used at spas as a special massage treatment. This ancient liquid gold is a highly symbolic food. The tree is Greece itself, timeless, resilient, deeply rooted, and beautiful.
I'm at the Konsterna Hotel in the Peloponnesos, right outside of Monemvasia. This is one of the oldest buildings in the whole region, dates back to the Byzantine era, to the 13th century. But I'm here to see something that they've preserved in perfect condition, one of the oldest working stone mills for crushing olives and making olive oil.
Alban and his horse Gina show me how it's done. Most families have their own stone mill or used a cooperative mill, taking their olives to be pressed and leaving behind a percentage of the oil as payment for its use.
Kalimera.
Kalimera.
Τι κάνετε?
Καλά, εσείς.
Eliches. These are early harvest super green olives. They're so juicy, you can squeeze them with your hands. Amazing. Gina's pulling these huge stone wheels. The olives are being crushed. This mash in here is what we want. That's where the oil comes from. We take that mash and move it over to a little stone press, a manual press, and press that, and the oil comes out of that mash. Gina's no ordinary horse. She likes to eat raw olives. This is a pretty healthy Mediterranean diet for this little horse here. Now we're going to press the olives. That's what he's doing. He's emptying the pulp in there. Oh, look, it's coming. Ah, Kita. Oh, my gosh, look at that. Oh, this is great. This is totally unfiltered, super extra virgin fresh olive oil. Wow. This is so delicious. They say you can't live by bread alone, but you can certainly live by bread and olive oil. I can anyway.
Turns out the bread and olive oil are just an appetizer. I've been invited by my friend Martina to make a classic local dish called saitia.
We couldn't have pressed all that olive oil without using some of it. It's a little greens pie, almost like a pancake. Very casual, daily kind of snack. And Martina here is making the dough. It's all-purpose flour. And as much water as it needs. And a fair amount of olive oil. I'm having a little hard time cutting my way through the stems of these greens with this knife because I'm used to working with sharper knives. She's telling me that I didn't do a good job cutting them. I should have been a little bit smaller. I'm going to add a little bit of feta cheese to this. I'm going to crumble the feta with my hands. You know, if you don't get your hands dirty when you cook, it's sort of like not cooking. A little olive oil, a lot of olive oil.
The dough is rolled. The greens are placed inside. We fold the dough into little rectangles. Lastly, the greens pancake is put inside the wood fire oven.
Wow. Ligo, ligo, ligo. That's the best. You add it raw, and it's healthier, and it's really flavorful. You can taste all the herbs, like the mint is really prominent, the dill, the oanitos, and the greens are sweet. It's excellent.
The process of making olive oil has evolved throughout centuries.
You had olive trees when you were growing up?
A lot of olive trees.
I'm meeting up with my friend Lou, a local son who left here as a teenager and made his life in the restaurant business in the American South. He is taking me to a beautiful olive grove overlooking the Bay of Laconia.
Olive oil was used for every part of cooking.
It's harvest time on the farm, so Lou will be showing me how olive oil is made in this century.
I grew up around the corner in a very small village.
Playing among the olive trees?
Yeah, we had lots of olive trees.
Olive oil was everywhere, right?
Everywhere, in every household, and everybody needed it, because that's how we survive.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And dessert.
Everywhere, in every part of cooking, we use olive oil. We do not have butter.
This is the Koroneiki variety.
This is Koroneiki variety, which is to produce olive oil. This is strictly not to eat. This is for oil.
Can I try one?
You can try one, but if you find it is very bitter, extremely bitter.
Ooh, it is bitter.
I tell
It's
you,
really bitter.
it is very bitter.
But I can taste the oil.
Yeah, they're full of oil.
It's amazing.
You can see it. The olive oil in this particular region has most polyphenols than anywhere else in the world.
Really?
Yes.
Is it because the region is so close to the sea?
Close to the sea, and also, you know, the weather is sunny all the time.
I want to see how these beautiful tiny olives become, you know, emerald green olive oil, the great olive oil from Laconia.
Let's go to the factory
With
and see
technology.
how it is with today's technology.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
I'm making one of my all-time favorite Greek dishes. It's called chortorizo.
An ingredient as important as olive oil has a whole category of recipes all its own. They're called lavera in Greek. That means dishes based on olive oil. They tend to be plant-based, one-pot or oven-baked stews or bean dishes. The The first thing I'm going to do is saute some onion. I just want it to be soft, wilted. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic to this. This is one of the great vegetable dishes of Greece. And I'm using Greek rice for this. It's just a medium grain, and it's our equivalent of those risotto rices. When it cooks up, it becomes very tender, but still holds its shape. I like to coat the rice in the olive oil. I'm about ready to add my greens. And I have a mix of things in here. I have chopped spinach and chard and sweet dandelions. You can use basically any sweet greens in this dish. What you want as an end result is not a pilaf, which many people associate with Greek food. It's not granular. It's something really soft and comforting. In fact, this dish is one of the great childhood favorites in Greece. It's something that Greek mothers feed their kids from a very young age. I have 3 cups of water in this pitcher, but I'm going to add a little bit less than that because I know that my greens have exuded probably about a cup of their own beautiful liquids. This takes about 35 to 40 minutes. You really want the rice to exude its starch. That makes the dish even creamier. This is pretty much ready. I can tell by the beautiful texture. The spinach is still really bright and vibrant. I'm just going to add my finishing touches here, my fresh parsley and my fresh cut dill. The last thing that goes in here is a little bit of lemon juice. Lemon, in this particular dish, makes it even healthier because it helps absorb all the iron in these amazing greens. It also adds a really perky note to the spinach and the rice. Those are really earthy flavors, and the lemon kind of picks the whole thing up. So I'm ready to serve this. I have one final touch, a little bit of shaved Greek feta. Just a touch of olive oil and a pinch of black pepper. I have to try this. It looks really, really fine. That is perfectly balanced. The spinach is really earthy. The olive oil brings everything together, and it's got this really beautiful, bold flavor. I'm gonna pour myself a glass of this Moschofilero wine from the Mandinia region in the Peloponnesos. Goes really beautifully with my greens and rice dish. That beautiful olive oil richness and the light acidity of the wine are great together. Ησυχία. Dimitris Polymenakos is a good friend of Lou and owner of the mill.
He's going to show us the entire process from soup to nuts, how to make really great olive oil. Πάμε!
Step 1. The olives are picked through for leaves and debris. Everything is computerized and completely traceable. The olives move to the next phase where they are rinsed in something that looks like a washing machine. Then they are placed in crushers.
This is the high-tech version of those big stone wheels.
Crushed olives are in constant motion for 50 minutes. The olives are now a mash, and this mash goes into the centrifuge.
This is the heart and soul of the whole operation here. This machine takes the olive mash and separates it into 3 components. The olive oil, water, and the last part, which is the pulp, the solids.
At the end of this process is cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, liquid gold.
I'm making one of many great olive oil dishes of Greece. This one is called briam. It's one of the great dishes of the summertime when all of these great vegetables are in season, but you can make it any time of the year, of course, too. Potatoes, zucchini, peppers, tomatoes, onions. I like to place my vegetables in a concentric ring in my baking pan. What I love about this dish is that it's really Greek, but it's also really Mediterranean. And wherever you travel throughout the region, from Istanbul to Lisbon, basically, you find dishes that are really similar, made with more or less the same ingredients in different configurations. Think things like ratatouille or caponata, what the Italians make. This is the Greek version of that. You want them to be really snug in the pan, almost ready to go into the oven. I'm gonna add a few more things. Salt, a little bit of pepper, a lot of really aromatic Greek oregano, garlic. I've got about 4 cloves here, coarsely chopped. And the most important ingredient, even more important than the vegetables, is the olive oil. I'm gonna cover this, put it in the oven at 375 for about 40 minutes. Take off the cover and let it continue to bake so that it gets that beautiful char on top. There's something about the smell of charred peppers and onions that's just really appetizing. I'm just gonna add a little fresh parsley and spoon some of this out on my plate. A little bit of bread, a little bit of wine. The wine that most Greeks pair with their lavera, their olive oil-based dishes, is rosé. It goes really beautifully together. It is so good. It's very mild, but the garlic and the oregano really bring this out. And of course, that olive oil. Most people think of rosés as quite sweet, but in Greece, rosés tend to be quite dry, and Greek wines tend to be high in acidity. That goes beautifully with the lusciousness of this dish. I'm going for more.
After seeing the process of making olive oil, Dimitri has invited me into their lunchroom to taste the fresh olive oil and other local delicacies.
We've seen the whole process, right? How do you know when the olive oil is good? So Dimitri is saying the first thing you have to look for is color. It has to be beautiful, bright green. The aroma has to be very pronounced, very grassy, fruity, frutodes, frutodes aroma. That really is picantico. You want a really peppery finish, like something like spicy, picantico. And the peppery aftertaste should leave after about 7 to 10 seconds. And actually, that's happening. That's exactly what happened. Good oil also has to be bitter because it's an indication that there are a lot of polyphenols. The greener the olive, the more unripe the olive, the higher the polyphenol content. Now, let's eat. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers and cheers.
Yamas.
Yamas.
Yamas, yamas.
You know what? I need a little pick-me-up, something sweet, some dessert.
All right, let's go for it. I know the right place for that.
And I'm making one of the classic Greek olive oil desserts called halva. In Greece, we use olive oil for everything. We can't live without it. We use it on our skin as moisturizer. We use it in our hair. We use it in desserts. I'm just starting my syrup and a little bit of great Greek honey. This is pine honey. My water. There's a little bit less water in this particular syrup, 3 cups to be exact. My sugar and honey are dissolved. I'm gonna add a cinnamon stick. That's a really Greek thing to do. We love the flavor of cinnamon. And just a strip of orange zest. I'm gonna get my roux started. I'm using this incredible Greek olive oil. Look at the color of that. And the olive oil, it has to be hot when I add my coarse semolina flour. which gives the halva this really beautiful, almost grainy texture. And you want to stir while you do that. That's really important, so that the semolina doesn't clump up. It'll absorb the olive oil, and you can see that it already has. It will change color. It'll get a little bit darker. I'm just going to take out the cinnamon stick and the orange zest and stir in a little Greek saffron. And I'm now ready to pour my sugar syrup into the roux. Both are very hot. You can hear that. That's a beautiful sound. Just finish this off by pouring the remainder of my syrup in here. So this is pretty much ready. And I know that because it's peeling away from the sides of the pan as I stir it. I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients: Greek raisins, these beautiful pistachios, which are toasted, a little bit of cinnamon. I like to add a little bit of grated orange zest right into the body of the halva. I'm going to spoon this into my cake mold. What I find interesting about halva is that it falls somewhere between a pudding and a cake. When it's set, you cut it the way you would cut a cake. But if you think about how it's made, it really is more like a pudding. I'm just going to cover this with a cloth and let it sit for a couple of hours. The unveiling of our olive oil dessert, halva, and I'm just going to flip it over on my serving plate. Looks perfect. Now we're going to taste it. I'm just going to slide a piece out. You know, in Greece we have a saying that has to do with anything that you use olive oil in. We say, "Fai ladi, kelo to vradi." And that means eat a little olive oil and come over tonight. Because olive oil, and especially in dishes like this, gives you energy. This is so good. It's really earthy, but it's got crunch from the nuts and a beautiful chewiness from the raisins. I want to marry this with one of my favorite wines, which is the dessert wine from Santorini called Vinsanto. You see Jan? Thank you for sharing this array of olive oil-based dishes with me. And I really hope I've inspired you to use olive oil in all of your cooking in ways that maybe you never thought you could.
After seeing the olive oil processing plant with Lou, he's invited me to one of his favorite spots in the area, beautiful Monemvasia, for a glass of the area's famous sweet Malvasia wine and a little dessert. Monemvasia was founded on a rock in the late 6th century AD by the Spartans. The town was of major strategic importance, right in the middle of a significant maritime highway. Lou has taken me to his favorite corner at the Monemvasia Hotel, which has breathtaking views overlooking the sea.
Lou, they couldn't have brought two more appropriate desserts, right? The two olive oil desserts of Greece, the orange pie and the halva.
Well, I told you I'm not the right place.
I trust you. This is the Malvasia, right?
Yeah,
Cheers.
Malvasia, cheers. Yamas.
This is amazing. It's like honey, raisins.
Yep, very good.
Thank you for an amazing day.
Yamas.
Yamas.
For recipe links and information about My Greek Table, visit DianeKochilas.com. Diane's cookbooks, The Food and Wine of Greece and Ikaria, are available to purchase online at DianeKochilas.com or call the phone number on the screen. My Greek Table with Diane Kochilas is made possible in part by the Stavros Niarchos Foundation, Barisi 36, traceable, regional, and all-natural Greek extra virgin olive oils and sulfite-free balsamic vinegars, Wines of Greece, a sense of place, Dodoni Authentic Greek Feta, made the traditional way from farm-fresh sheep's and goat's milk. Greece, home to Hellenic flavors and the Mediterranean experience.
The Philo Factory.
The National Hellenic Society. And by the following. With additional support by
Government